Hi guys, it's Evan, and today's video is going to be all about Yule the Sabbat, and I'm going to cover everything from foods, traditions, deities, what exactly is Yule, things like that. As you all know, I do have a little cheat sheet down here so we can just kind of make sure everything flows at a good pace. So first things first, let's start off with what is Yule? Yule is the winter solstice. It is the time of year where we have the least amount of light, so it is the darkest time of year. Now, the day after Yule, or the days following Yule, is when we start to gain slowly over time more hours of daylight. So we are welcoming back the daylight. This is a great time to be with loved ones, friends, and families, and it's also a wonderful time to give. Now, take a deep breath, soak it all in, because this video may or may not be kind of long. And if you guys did not already watch my storytime video about the Holly King and the Oak King, then you guys probably don't know, but you can probably hear I am getting over a really nasty, shitty cold. So, a lot of sniffles, a lot of coughs occasionally, some slight shortness of breath. Bear with me. Thank you. Anyway, let's just keep this going on. What kind of colors are associated with Yule? And a lot of you probably will not be surprised, but a lot of the same colors associated with Christmas are also associated with Yule. That includes red, green, white, gold, silver, and even brown. Those can be associated with decorations, candles, even a lot of the foods and fruits associated with this Sabbath in particular. Sorry, I cannot talk today. With this Sabbath in particular, are also of those colors, including, cranberries, apples, and I will go ahead and get into food later on in this video also. But really quick, let's talk about deities. There are a lot of deities, like a lot of deities associated with Yule or with this time of year. I did not list all of them because this video would go on forever, for days, for a long hot minute. So I just listed some of the more heard of, or the more, I guess, common ones, if you will. That includes Balder, Demeter, Frigga, the Holly King, the Oak King, Dionysus, Horus, Odin, and Saturn. So all of those gods, and I will also later on in the video tell you guys some celebrations you can do in honor of those gods, if any of them are some deities that you yourself celebrate. There also are some herbs and oils and scents that are associated with Yule. That includes, as I mentioned earlier, orange, apples, pears, and cranberries, those kind of scents. A lot of mold scents and spices and things like that. But also holly, thistle, mistletoe, pine, fir trees, cinnamon, nutmeg, and poinsettia. Really quick, I do want to point out two things. Two of those plants are in fact poisonous. That is, the poinsettia is extremely toxic to animals. So if you do have a live poinsettia, then I do recommend keeping it out of reach of small children and animals. And also, as we know, mistletoe is also toxic, or can be toxic. So if you choose to go and get real mistletoe for you to go ahead and kiss under, make sure that you're kissing closed mouth, because God forbid you get a berry in your mouth, because you just might die. Anyway, what kind of creatures and realms are associated with Yule? And there is plentiful and a lot. That includes tree spirits, pixies, elves, and fairies more commonly. And there's also a lot of creatures that dwell within trees in this time of year. A lot of cultures cut trees down, or they go to tree farms to get Christmas trees or Yule trees, or to make Yule logs. With that being said, there are, some deities and creatures that are connected to those trees. And when you're bringing that element from outdoors in your home, it's a, kind of a nice gesture to kind of welcome them as well. Make a little cookie or a cake for them and, welcome them during the cold months. But don't be shy to tell them, to kind of skedaddle when Austera comes, when things kind of start to thaw out and kind of warm up and things like that. Speaking of cakes and cookies, what kind of foods and drinks are associated with Yule? Usually seasonal mead, again, mulled spice mead, red wine, goose, turkey, sweet-breads and sweet treats like cakes and cookies as well, and also a variety of vegetables and fruits like turnips, celery, carrots, and again, pears, cranberries, and apples. Now, some Yuletide traditions are, collecting sacred herbs to cleanse and to protect your home. We are also getting close to the new year as far as the Roman calendar is concerned. In the pagan calendar, Samhain, aka Halloween, is our new year. So if you're like me, I'm not going to lie, I do celebrate the Roman New Year's as well. So this is a good time to kind of, cleanse your home, out with the old, in with the new, positive vibes, getting it all situated for, new beginnings. And also spring is right around the corner, so make sure your house is welcome and open and cleansed. Another tradition is, of course, cooking feast with your friends and family. It's always great to kind of reap the rewards of your harvest if you are a farmer, or if you shop at local farmers markets, or if you live in a small community. It's a really nice thing to kind of, shop locally, help local families, help the local economy, and cook together in thanks and in reflecting in the past year. It's also really, really common in many cultures to hunt large game. Large game this time of year is very, very plentiful. Depending on where you live, you might want to check into your local wildlife law enforcement to see what exactly is able to be hunted at this time, because it is different in every state and in every country. So be sure to check with that. And also, as I said, blessings for the home. So, speaking of all the foods, the deities, the colors, and all those wonderful things, let's talk about some ways you can celebrate. And there are tons of ways you can celebrate, especially depending on what type of Wicca path you follow, whether that be, eclectic Wicca like myself, or say you are into, Dianic Wicca, or if you're into Druidry, things like that. You can cook with your friends and family. That's a pretty universal tradition for a lot of major holidays like this. You can also do a ritual of lights. As I said, after the winter solstice is when we start to slowly gain more hours of daylight. So it's a good time to kind of do a ritual to welcome the daylight and to kind of do a ritual of light on the darkest day of the year. It's kind of symbolic in a lot of ways. Feast with your deities. As I said above, I listed a ton of deities like Odin, even Uller, which I did not mention. The Holly King, the Oak King, things like that. Do a feast in their honor, in their celebration, if those are any of your deities that you do celebrate. You can also do a Yule log ceremony, and there are tons of links online that can teach you guys how to do that out of your own Yule tree, if you harvest your own Yule tree. And there's tons of places you can actually buy just Yule logs. So you can do a Yule log ceremony. You can also make crafts of snowflakes to bring snow. There's actually two ways that you can bring snow if you live in an area where it is actually uncommonly dry. One of my subscribers, Devin, he actually mentioned where he lives right now, they actually don't have a lot of snow, which is really uncommon. So I said that you can go ahead and take 4 ice cubes and go outside on the perimeter of your home, and in each corner place an ice cube and ask that direction for snow or for some kind of moisture. If you live in an area where you don't, or you can't do that, you can simply just do the old school cutting out snowflakes out of white paper and hanging them up in each direction of your house, north, south, east, and west, and also asking for some kind of moisture weather, more than likely snow, to come your way, and it shall happen. That's also a really fun thing to do with children and kids as well. If you're trying to kind of introduce them or trying to raise them pagan, that's a really fun way you can kind of incorporate your kids as well. Welcoming back the sun ritual is extremely, extremely common. That kind of coincides with doing a ritual of lights. Also, you can do prayers for peace and love during this time of year. Again, the Roman calendar New Year is January 1st, so this is a good time, to kind of wish everybody a lot of love and peace, especially welcoming in the new year and during this time of year, which is actually physically the darkest time of year. It's a good time to kind of, take into account everything that has happened, not only to yourself, to your friends and family, but to the world within the past year, and kind of heal the earth with a love and peace ritual. And you can do a lot of god and goddess rites as well, with feasting, even with just offering wines and things like that. And you can even do a lot of cleansing rituals of yourself, other people, and of your home. So, I told you this video is almost 10 minutes long. I tried to keep it kind of short and simple. Sorry if it seemed a little scatterbrained. It was just a lot of information that I really wanted to share with you guys. And I've been planning to do this video for actually about a week and a half now, but as you can tell, I got sick and life happens. So YOLO, what can you do? Anyway, give this video a thumbs up if you learned something new. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to comment below. And until then, I wish you all lots of light, love, and blessings, and I will see you next time. Bye.